Hi everybody, this is Monique Hunter from Dancing Light Stained Glass Studio, and today we're going to talk about or show you how I do soldering. For a lot of artists, soldering is where they get caught up and feel like they need their most practice. Everybody has their own process, and this is how I solder. Right now I am applying flux just to the joints of my stained glass piece. I am heavy-handed with flux, but you don't need to use a lot. You rarely only need to use a little bit, and only apply flux where you're going to be soldering in the next few minutes or so. You don't want to waste it because it will dry up. Though the gel flux, which I am using, doesn't dry up as quickly as liquid flux, especially. So I'm going to take my solder, and I'm going to take my soldering iron. I have a Weller 100, very convenient, no thermostat needed. And I'm going to simply start by tacking the pieces together, which is applying solder just to the joints, or where each of the pieces join together. And the purpose for doing this is simply to hold the piece together so that I can remove all of the horseshoe nails and the zinc framing and rulers and whatever else I have cobbled together to keep my piece square. Of course, you have to make sure your piece is square before you begin the soldering process. Once you have soldered all of your joints together, or tacked them together, then the next step in the process is tinning. And just for the sake of, TV, we're going to pretend that I have tacked everything together and I have removed all of the framing. So we're going to go back now, and we're going to start to flux the lines that I'm going to solder. Again, not applying a lot of flux. You don't need a lot of flux. A little goes a long way. In fact, when I get a new flux brush, I always cut it down so that the bristles aren't collecting as much flux as they could. Cut it down by at least half. So once I've fluxed a little area that I think that I can solder in the next few minutes, the next step in my process is tinning. And tinning, what we're going to be doing in tinning is we're going to be getting the solder down between all of the joints, and covering all of this lovely shiny copper foil with solder. So my soldering iron is fairly flat on the piece. Again, I'm not looking to run a nice bead. I am simply looking to get solder down between. So I'm pressing off a little bit of solder there and just going nice and slow, because I want to make sure that that solder is melted all the way through. A nice bead comes, of course, when you have solder piled up on a lovely round bead on top. But part of the strength of a panel is getting that solder right down between those joints. And of course, you don't want your joints to be too wide or too small. You have to have just a little bit of space for it to go through. So I'm going to keep tinning here as I go. If you start to bead a little bit, it's okay. There's no crime against it, as long as you know that you've gotten your solder between those lines. Alright. Generally, you're going to be pulling the solder and iron towards you. Again, this is my process. And in tinning, just a reminder that you're holding the solder and iron pretty flat, pretty level with the piece. So again, for the sake of this video, or let's pretend it's TV. For the sake of TV, we're going to pretend that I have tinned this whole piece. Everything is removed, and I'm ready now to bead my panel. So at this point, you'll probably need to reflux just a little bit with gel flux. It's going to still be there, but pass just a damp brush across it, a flux brush across it, and we're going to start to bead. Now with beading, again, the purpose is to get this lovely rounded bead on top of your work. You're going to, I don't solder the joint. I start off a joint, and I hold my soldering iron at an angle, apply my solder to it, let it melt, and once both the solder on the roll has melted and the solder underneath my iron, start to draw it slowly but steadily towards me, leaving behind a nice bead. And if the puddle gets too big, just lift up and come back. And you may be able to see that I do not stop on a joint. If you stop on a joint, then what's going to happen is that your solder is going to look like a little bulb sitting up on top of your piece. So I stopped about here, I come back, apply, melt, and keep going again. Again, not stopping on that joint, going just past it, coming back while everything is still liquid. One lovely long continuous bead all the way down. I'm picking up as I go. If you can see right here, there's been a little, I've left too much solder. Now, because I have a lot more to solder, I could drag this around, but if you have too much in one spot, simply press and pull off, pull off, pull off. And you can just go and smooth that back out. Lovely smooth bead. Never mind this for now, just leave it. When it cools, you can pick it right off. Okay, we're going to come back up and do another line, starting over here. There we go. You can see I had too much there, so I just lifted the solder away, keeping the iron at an angle, level with the piece. And it's always easiest to do if you are pulling the soldering iron directly towards you. Think of your belly button as the goal. You want to almost bring that solder into your belly button, obviously without doing that, because you would burn yourself. Alright, there you go. And here we have a lovely rounded bead sitting on top, a tinned piece that's been filled in with solder, and this is good. You're ready now to move on to the rest of your panel and continue with your patina if you want it, polishing, and all of your finishing steps. Alright, hope that makes sense. Any questions, just ask.